Hi, hello, welcome to the Plot Malaysia. This is our 30th episode. This is the show for the fans.
By the fans. Right in front of Anfield.
Yeah, and today is a very, very special show for us, especially, for Malaysians who love football, and especially, of course, we have a very special guest on the show. He's a legend, and we're so happy to have him on our show. Let's welcome none other than Shebby Singh. Yeah.
Happy welcome to the show.
Happy welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. And I must say that, this is the 30th show and you just remembered me. What took you guys so long?
We saved you for a very, very special
for the
episode.
Best.
For the best.
We saved you for a very, very special episode. That's absolutely right.
And thank you so much. I mean, I'm happy to be here and talking football. Let's do it.
Yeah, the sport
thank you
all
once
love.
Again. Yes, exactly. And of course, Shebby, of course, the entire country knows you very, very well. Of course, we've seen you, on Astro and so on and so forth, punditry and so on and so forth. But we want to ask you this question, the starting question we want to ask you, for all our viewers to know as well. So what are you up to these days, Shebby?
Well, apart from working on Fox Sports, I have been mainly doing shows on Skype, doing Serie A live, and then I've been recording a program called The Generation Gap. But now the season has ended, and so there won't be much work on television. Having said that, again, I'm also managing an engineering company, a small mechanical engineering shop. I'll call it a shop because we're not big enough to be called a company. Not solid enough to be called a firm. So with a small shop, we do a lot of maintenance work. And so that keeps me busy. And obviously, with the pandemic and everybody having to be extra careful, it's fine, Otherwise, there's been a lot of exciting football on TV. Saw the Champions League final, was very, very disappointed. But we'll talk about that, when you guys deem fit.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I've got to ask Shebby, what's the transition been like? Because obviously you're pretty much a football man from your playing days right up to the punditry days as well. From that to mechanical engineering now, for example, leading a mechanical engineering firm, has that been a difficult transition in general? Or?
Well, I must say that the name helps, the face helps. I think people are excited. Be it the general manager of a plant or be it the general workers in a plant. It has been very interesting for me because people welcome me everywhere I go. I have zero knowledge about mechanical engineering, but I've been helped along the way by my own workers, and also the engineers have been very, very helpful as well. I've learned new things. I've made new friends. I've learned how to sweat it out when there's no money in the bank and payday is around the corner. So a lot of new things. But I mean, I must say that it is an enjoyable experience. Pretty much managing a small shop like this is like managing a football team or a football club. I mean, the principles are the same. The scale might not be that big. So I mean, a lot of experience that I draw from my playing days. Is management, and so I would say that yes, I am thoroughly enjoying this.
Awesome.
Can see that.
Yeah, you're looking good. Shebby, I've got to ask you this. So now, obviously, we're big fans, and to be honest, when Astro came about, for example, we started watching, and we got access to the Premier League. One of my favorite shows on TV was Football Focus.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion, it was anchored by John Dykes at that time. In my opinion, it was the best, the first of its kind, and the best football analysis show in Southeast Asia at that point in time. And I'm a football lover. I used to love the details of football, when it comes to tactics, etc. And it was a fantastic show to watch, and you were a big part of that, calling a spade on the show. So, just tell us a bit about those days, those punditry days on Football Focus, what it was like, and also some of those debates that you had with Steve McMahon on the show, for example, which were fantastic for viewers to watch as well.
Well, I must say that, that was a great show. Dykesy is a great host. He knows how to ask the right questions. He knows how to prompt. And, we must, understand that, and this is no disrespect to anyone, English football had, and I'm using the past tense, they always had a very, very fixed mindset, as to how football should be played, why everybody should conform to the way they play, So it made for exciting debate, because I was coming from a global perspective, because, the best football that I had watched up until the Premier League was telecast on a regular basis was the World Cup, And at the World Cup, you see the best players in the world, So it was exciting for me. Was that I was bringing a global perspective. I was bringing how football was being played, because like I said, there was a very, very set mindset. It was like, no, this is the right way, and I was like, no, that is the wrong way. so yeah, we made for some good shows, because for me, I look at football differently, because I was brought up to play football a different way. During my playing career, I had some of the best minds in football, like the late Dr. Yusuf Vanglosh, who just passed away, Mr. S. Subramaniam, the AFC technical director at one time. He was the technical director of Kuala Lumpur FA. One of my earliest experience when I walked into the Johor team at the age of 18 was meeting Osman Abdullah. Osman Abdullah had actually been to the Munich Olympics with the national team, and this is my third day of training. And after 3 sessions, Abang Man, we used to call him, he looks at me and he says, Singh, because at that time they just called me Singh. He said, one day you're going to play for Malaysia. I mean, can you imagine that? Here is a footballing legend, Johor footballing legend, a national player who played in the Olympics, and he's telling you, just after having watched you in 3 sessions, he's telling an 18-year-old that one day you're going to play for Malaysia. So, I mean, looking back on that, and I think there were a lot of turning points. So I learned from the very best, and I applied that when I was playing, and I applied that when I was on television, I mean, I can remember the never-ending debate, how the English didn't appreciate Michael Carrick. And I was standing up for Michael Carrick, every step of the way, until the English realized that, hang on a minute, that is a very, very important player, sitting in front of the defense, calm, collected, making those forward passes, not giving the ball away, pretty much controlling the tempo of the game. Do we want to play fast? Do we want to play? I mean, bloody hell, if Sir Alex Ferguson put him in his first team, you bloody well listen to what Shebby Singh is saying.
Absolutely, yes, 100%.
And I think that's what made the show what it was, because of the difference of opinion. And you actually, like I said, big part of that, because you stood up for what you believed in. You gave a very honest opinion, and if there was a difference of opinion with everyone on the panel, fine, be it as it is. But this is what I think, and this is what I'm going to speak about. So I thought bravo to that, because I think that's what made the show what it was, and those debates with Steve McMahon made it what it was at the end of the day.
Yeah, because I knew that at that time they would not agree, but you just give them a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, and then they will go like, bloody hell, that bastard was right. I mean, that's how credibility was built over the years. I wasn't a guy with a red nose, just to be there. I was I have to be very honest and say, I was a very integral part of the show, because I gave, like I said, I gave a global perspective. I looked into the future. For me, analyzing football is about the future, where you are today, where you're going to be, where a club needs to be. So I really, really enjoyed those shows.
Awesome.
We enjoyed it as well.
We thoroughly
you stand your ground.
Thank you.
Their opinions were really, really brilliant as well. Yeah, go on, Hari.
I think even the, Yeah, I may not have completely agreed with, but I think even the discussion about Steven Gerrard was very interesting. Steven Gerrard playing right back, I think, that, I mean, just the thought process behind it was very interesting.
So, Harry, let me take you to the future. Not now, not tomorrow. The future that was like 10 years ago, from the day I said Steven Gerrard would make a very good right back. Okay, for the last 5 seasons at least, have you seen the change, or maybe 6 or 7 seasons? Have you seen the change in the profile of the right fullback?
Yes.
He's not the right back anymore, So that was where I was. I was quite perhaps 10 years ahead of everyone. But that profile today would be a right back. You can be a right back, you can be a right wing back, you can be a right winger. So he had those attributes. But like I said, perhaps I was just too far into the future for people to realize that at that time.
I mean, a fair point. I mean, look at Trent Alexander-Arnold now. A lot of similar attributes to Steven Gerrard. Has a good whip on the ball, very athletic as well. Started off as a midfielder and is now a high-profile right back, one of the best in the world. Yep.
Harry, I mean, look at that. I mean, if he was, your classic central midfielder, why did you get Xabi Alonso? Why did you get Javier Mascherano? You understand, Liverpool had Steven Gerrard, and yet they needed Xabi Alonso. They needed Javier Mascherano. Wasn't Gerrard like the all-round great midfielder? So, but like I said, I mean, I think very deeply about the game, So if you have somebody who's got the Xabi Alonso attributes and Javier Mascherano attributes, bloody hell, you don't need Mascherano and Xabi Alonso. No, you needed them. Didi Hamann, he comes on in that epic cup final just so that he can bring some semblance of composure, of discipline, calmness. Because so no disrespect. Yes, Steven Gerrard would have played for me at right back until today.
That's amazing. That's a very, very interesting perspective.
Interesting outlook on it. Yeah, extremely interesting outlook on it. Yeah.
And I'm going to bring it to the next question as well, Shebby. I just wanted to ask you because, of course, the Premier League season just got done. Of course. So I want to know, what are your thoughts about it in terms of, the standout teams, players, or even managers? What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I mean, obviously, Manchester City, yes, Pep Guardiola. I think he's changed the face of football, not only in England but globally. Everybody wants to start playing from the back. So he's been a huge part of football evolution, and it was always exciting to watch Manchester City until the Champions League final against Chelsea, where I thought, hang on a minute, Manchester City didn't lose this cup final. Pep Guardiola did, because football can only evolve so much. Let's be honest. And I think Pep's tried to do something, and it has not worked. It didn't work, and he's lost a major cup final. But having said that, I think generally with Liverpool, I mean, they are the biggest. I would say biggest. Well, let's use the word disappointment, because they won the league with 99 points this season. They've only got 69. I mean, you don't drop 30 points simply like that unless you are not a squad. You have a team. That team won you the league, but when it mattered, you need a squad of players to sustain that success. Unfortunately, Liverpool have fallen short. So these are the things that need to be improved. First season, or rather the first title-winning team is great, but how do you keep them motivated? You will have injuries, you will have suspensions. So that's where a big squad comes into play. Unfortunately, Jurgen Klopp didn't have that, or didn't prepare for that. And that is why Liverpool have struggled. So 30-point drop is a major disaster. And this is where the club owners, this is where Jurgen Klopp has got to say that, look, next season, we will get our injured players back, but we need to have a squad of players. I mean, you cannot rely on Shaqiri to come on as a sub to change things, or Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Yeah.
So a lot of lessons to be learned, and lessons are, more often than not, they are bitter. But so that for me was the biggest setback of this season, because we expected Liverpool to be up there, So when you look at the points tally, it's very disappointing. But having said that, I think if you look at the points tally of the other teams, City won the league with 86 points. Last season they had 81, so they've improved. So generally, apart from Liverpool dropping points, everybody, to be honest, even bloody Spurs, we improved on last season. Last season, we have 59 points, finishing 6th. This season, we finished 7th, but we are on 62 points.
Yep.
So it's so I would say, yes, it's been a mixed bag, but for me, some of the players who deserve a mention, you have to talk about Harry Kane, but we'll save him for later. Yuri Tillemans. Yuri Tillemans,
he was good.
He's a fantastic footballer. He's going to be a great player, provided he breaks into the Belgian national team, becomes a first choice player. And so I would say, generally there's not been, I wouldn't say the standard of football has been too high. But once again, teams like Arsenal, Chelsea just managed to scrape through. Now they're European champions. And I was looking at Chelsea, and I was thinking, Roberto Di Matteo did a similar. He did a Thomas Tuchel before Thomas Tuchel did a Roberto Di Matteo. Come in January and then win the Champions League. And what is interesting, guys, is the fact that with Chelsea, it's always the managerial, the merry-go-round that motivates the players. New man comes in, boom, everybody wants to work hard. After 6 months or 1 season, a new man comes in, boom, everybody wants to work hard. So there's always that is the motivating factor. But obviously they have the money, they can afford to do that. A lot of it is down to the finances, and a lot of other clubs cannot do that. But that is Chelsea's philosophy. I remember saying their sacking philosophy is more exciting than their playing philosophy.
It's almost a concept that Watford uses. They sack managers on a regular basis. Obviously, not to the same degree of success, but it's a philosophy they adopt as well. Good points, Shebby. I think one thing I wanted to say was I think hopefully Liverpool have learned a lesson actually on the centre back issue. They have picked up Ibrahima Konate, so I think they've probably learned that lesson, which was a painful lesson, going in very light on centre backs last year.
And Ibrahima Konate, he's a very, very good player. RB Leipzig 2 seasons ago, it was Ibrahima Konate together with Dayo Upamecano. And if they played 3 at the back, it was with Willy Orban. So Konate is a very, very good player. But I think lately, last season, he's not really played too much because of injuries. So that is something that you've got to manage again. But, I often speak about the French and how they churn out centre-backs, but you definitely have got a very, very good footballer.
Awesome.
It's very sad for me to see Liverpool, signing such a wonderful player, because I'm a United fan, right? And there's no business done as yet, to bring in players, but Liverpool has started a good one, so I'm quite jealous of that.
But that is the problem, because I don't know, what Man City look at, Man United look at, because honestly, Lindelof, Maguire, Bailly, okay,
Absolutely.
but if there is any consolation for Man United and centre backs, Wes Morgan and Robert Huth were the centre backs when Leicester City won the Premier League. So you have hope. You have some hope.
That's a transfer tip from Shebby right there, Ram. I think
I'll take that whatever glimpse of hope I have from you, Shebby.
If Wes Morgan and Robert Huth can win the Premier League, and Man United without centre backs should be able to do that as well.
Yeah, but I don't think Lindelof cuts it though. I don't think so.
No, Bailly, Lindelof, Maguire, no, it just Chris Smalling, Phil Jones, you guys left that department neglected for too long. You didn't plan for the future. what's going to happen next, who's the successor to who. I mean, these things are important if you want to run a football club.
And sticking with you on that, Shebby, when you're talking about how clubs run and so on and so forth, especially now the season is over, right? What are your predictions next season, Shebby? Any predictions that you can actually think of that could possibly happen next season for any of the
contenders going into next
contenders
season.
going into next season.
I mean, you look at Manchester City and Liverpool will fight it out, for the title. I see these two as the major title contenders. I don't think Man United or Arsenal or Spurs or Chelsea will win enough matches. I think these teams struggle for consistency. So yes, I look at it will be a fight between Man City and Liverpool for the title next season.
Wow.
You
must be on fire.
do you think Tuchel's Chelsea are going to be a threat next year?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I have to be very honest here and say that I think Thomas Tuchel is vastly overrated. He is he's like a Maurizio Sarri.
Yep.
I think he's got a good PR team. I think I mean he followed Jurgen Klopp at Mainz. He
Dortmund,
took over at Borussia Dortmund. Didn't really change the world of football. With PSG, I mean PSG did win the title, but didn't do well in Europe. I think with Chelsea, like I said, Roberto Di Matteo did exactly the same thing. So it's hard to say. But having said that, I must credit Frank Lampard because Frank Lampard made most of the signings. I thought, getting Timo Werner, getting Kai Havertz. I mean, Havertz, he was 17 playing for Leverkusen when I said he is world class. And Pulisic. So there is somebody at that club who knows their football, and they brought in these, players, and then they've got the likes of Mason Mount. So there seems to be an idea of how the team should evolve and when it should evolve. So, Callum Hudson-Odoi, I hope they keep him because, he could come on and terrorize defenders. Tammy Abraham, he will score more goals than Giroud because he's younger, So there's something good happening there. And like I said, Lampard might have gotten the sack, but don't forget he laid the foundations.
I agree with you 100% on that for sure. But Harry, you want to go?
I was going to ask you something. So, I mean, in terms of any surprise packages you see next year, maybe qualifying for Europe or the Champions League. As an example, this year I thought West Ham did pretty well to make Europe. Leeds were fantastic under Bielsa as well. Do you think they're gonna have a similar season next year and maybe break into Europe or the Champions League as well? Or
no, I don't think so because number one, their buying power. You always look at certain seasons like West Ham. They'll have a good season. In every 5 or 6 years they'll have one good season. Leeds United. They are going to lose some of their players. Will they have money to okay, most importantly, the first question is, will Patrick Bamford score more goals than he did this season? Will the defenders be as good as they were this season? So it's always, a big question because minimum you want a similar performance from all your players in the new season. And then you bring in, 2 or 3 major signings to improve the team. So it's not only investing, in terms of money, but investing, in terms of talent that you have got from within, promoting them. So that is why, unfortunately, the game is like that. These teams, they will have a stellar season or two, and then, they will struggle. Somebody else will have a good season. Like I think it was Wolves, the season before, So you get that. But unfortunately, the nature of the beast is that their best players will get bought by the bigger clubs, and it's always difficult. So enjoy it while you can. I would say to the likes of Leeds United, to the West Hams, because Arsenal will come back because they've got the resources. Spurs won't be as rubbish as we were this season. I mean, don't forget, early December we were top of the table. So a lot of factors. You love to see an underdog. But even Atletico Madrid are not an underdog. I mean, they've been a club there or thereabouts, and they won La Liga. So no major surprises or shocks next season.
Nice. I see. And following up to that, Shebby, because there were a lot of things that happened this season, if you remember, like good things, a lot of disappointments, of course, the current season as well. But the one thing I want to ask you, that is on a lot of people's minds, especially during the ESL fallout, that happened recently. What are your thoughts about that? Because I really want to get your opinion. What do you think on the fallout?
To be honest, on a personal level, when I looked at that and I thought, bloody hell, it'll be nice, we wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You don't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch Fulham play Sheffield United, So if every week, I have to wake up at that, ungodly hour, I want to see the top teams play. So like I said, purely selfishly, on a personal level, I was very excited, but when then you look at the big picture, and that, it was just a power struggle between, rich ownership against UEFA, because UEFA have come out and they've done rubbish with the new Champions League format. They're bringing a lot of mediocre football. Do you really want to, wake up to see a team from, I don't know, Slovenia, play, even play a Manchester City? You don't want to do that, So as a consumer, I thought the ESL was a great, exciting idea, concept. But then again, football doesn't belong to the clubs. Football belongs to, this body called UEFA. Above them is a body called FIFA. They're not the smartest, they're not the cleverest, but they certainly know how to suck in the money. So there you go. So it was as a concept, I like it, because for me, like I said, we live in this part of the world. I want to watch the top teams every week, but unfortunately, it didn't materialize. I used the word unfortunately.
Well, I was very happy that the fans all came together, and United fans, Liverpool fans, all they came together to really send a message across. So I think that was very nice to watch as well.
Oh, I mean, I understand that, I understand the sentiments of the fans of that club, I mean, if Spurs are not playing in the Champions League, and if there is a ESL, I would watch the ESL. Definitely, I will watch that, So, well, stranger things have happened in football. So we never know, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, that could be a rethink, because I mean, UEFA are not exactly doing the right thing. It used to be called the European Cup. Only European, only champions used to play, and then became a UEFA, Champions League. I wonder what next. So UEFA are pretty much already doing that, aren't they?
The Conference League for Spurs.
I know it's there's a new league in Europa, something below the
Conference League. The Conference
UEFA
League,
Conference League.
So it's a power struggle, at the top. But like I said, from a consumer's point of view, I would love to watch Real Madrid play Manchester City, or PSG, play Bayern Munich. I would, every week I would.
Yeah, fair point. I think I'm similar in that sense, but I think the one thing that the fans may have an issue with, and personally as well, was, and it was amplified actually in Liverpool's finishing to the season, the jeopardy of being able to, of possibly missing out on Europe, and then Alisson Becker going up in stoppage time to head that in would not have been possible, I think, in an ESL situation. So look at it from that perspective. I think we want that bit of jeopardy in football, just to create that excitement at the end of the day as well, to make it fair on all grounds. Sticking with the Spurs team as well, we've got to talk about Spurs, Shebby, if you're on the show. You're Spurs through and through. I know it wasn't the best season possible, but I wanted to focus more on the Kane situation, actually. Harry Kane sort of come out and said he's looking at a move now. What are your thoughts on that, and where do you think he'll end up next season?
Well, to be honest, I think, Spurs are not a bad team. Like I said, you go back to early December, Spurs were top of the table. So they're not a bad team. It was just down to a bad manager in Jose Mourinho. So everything is not, not really broken, so to speak. But for Harry Kane, I think, the time has come to make a big decision. You stay at Spurs or you move. Now, if Harry Kane was to move, I don't think he'll move out of England. That is my personal view, because I think if he wanted to do that, he would have gone, a few seasons back already. He would have gone. I mean, he's 27 now. There are not too many clubs in Europe that will be looking at him. To be honest, I mean, Real Madrid have got Benzema. Bayern Munich have Lewandowski. Maybe Barcelona need a number 9, but I don't think Ronald Koeman would look at Harry Kane.
PSG
PSG have got Mbappe, but they could do with a striker. I mean, Kane, is young. Icardi is about 28, so they could afford to pay Harry Kane as well. But having said that, I think there's one club right now, today, at this very moment, who needs a goal scorer, a striker, and that's Manchester City. And they can afford it. Let's be honest, they can afford it. Because they just, Pep is missing that one piece of the puzzle, and his team would be complete, because they're very strong at the back, they're very creative in midfield, but he does not play Aguero or Jesus for whatever reason. But if you had Harry Kane, I mean, Harry Kane, he's a number 9, he can play as a 10, he can be, a false or a true forward or anything that you want, So what I would like to see Harry Kane do is to go to a settled club. Don't go to a Man United, because they are not the most stable at the moment.
No, not at all.
No disrespect, Ram. And, you don't want to go there and think that Cavani is the best option. He's Rashford. What is his best position? Where is Anthony Martial gone in all this? So there's where is the creativity coming from in midfield? So for Harry Kane, he will have to choose wisely. So I would say, Harry Kane, don't leave England, just move north to Manchester, to Manchester City, because that is the most complete team at the moment. But I hope that Jurgen Klopp, tries something different, because he lacks that number 9 now. Mane and Salah like to drift out. Firmino is not that natural striker. So so I hope it's a shootout between Liverpool or Manchester City for Harry Kane, because I think he would be perfect. Don't even have to move. Don't have to go to a different culture. Don't have to learn a different language or anything. So if I was Harry Kane, I'll be looking at Man City or Liverpool.
Wow.
How about this one? As a Spurs, diehard Spurs supporter, if you had to lose one player, Harry Kane or Son, just up to you, who would you rather lose?
Oh, I mean, either way we'd be screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, the hope, the wish, the prayer is that we keep both, But it will all depend on who comes in now, who comes in to be the boss, who's going to be the new manager. Is he going to be a manager or is he going to be a coach? Because I think that is the world of difference. Pochettino was a coach. Mourinho is a manager. Manager in modern football today, it's not going to work. You need a coach. You need to make a player better, So, I mean, it'll break my heart, but push comes to shove, I will let Son go.
Oh,
I'm a big Son fan, actually. When you talk about Harry Kane and Liverpool,
I love him. I love him, but you guys put me on the spot to choose one. So, and I never sit on the fence because it hurts my buttocks.
But I was just about to say, talking about Harry Kane and Liverpool, actually, I would take Son to Liverpool. I feel he suits the game perfectly. Energy he'll bring to the team, the way Klopp plays as well. Yeah.
Harry, you're right. You know why? Because Klopp tried it with Minamino, but he sent Minamino off on loan. So he's already looking at that kind of a player. So with Salah, with Mane, with Son, bloody hell.
Forced to be reckoned with. Oh my God, it is so.
I know,
so crazy.
it's scary, isn't it? But then again, Shaqiri.
Yeah.
And then everything just comes down.
Yeah, the quality of the bench. Yep.
But how about this, Hari and Shebby, right? Okay, if Liverpool were to get Son, then I would take Kane any day, for Man United.
No, it's true. Because it's all about now. Show me the money.
Yeah.
Whichever club shows the money, Harry will go. But like I said, in England, stay in England. If it's for crazy money like Manchester United gives you, you go. But if footballing reasons, it's Man City or Liverpool at this moment. Or he could go to Arsenal.
do a Sol Campbell.
Exactly.
What about a potential manager, Shebby? I mean, you understand the European game, and there are a lot of potential managers out there. Now, who would you like to see as the next Spurs manager? You've obviously burnt your fingers with Mourinho. Who would you like to see come in now for Spurs?
Yeah. So now we got to look for a coach. Somebody who's going to improve the player. He's going to make that individual better. And at this moment in time, I mean, I was hoping it would be somebody like Allegri, but unfortunately, Allegri is already, committed to somewhere. Now, if you want to look I mean, okay, you ask me now, I would say I'll take Antonio Conte.
Yep.
Oh,
simply because you look at, he's won the title with Inter. But you know what? Chelsea, he has made Lukaku a totally different player. Romelu Lukaku is not the fumbling, bumbling centre forward anymore that he was. He's calmer, his touch has improved, and he knows how to make those runs, how to shield the ball, when to lay it off. So yeah, Antonio Conte, because Julian Nagelsmann was another one,
But he's gone to Bayern,
he's gone to Bayern. So I don't want Spurs to try somebody. No, go for someone who will just give the club a big boost. I mean, Conte did well at Chelsea. Possibly he still got his house in London. But the way Inter played this season, the way Ashraf Hakimi, Nicolo Barella, they improved so much. They played so well. So, yeah, I would pick Antonio Conte right now.
Shebby, I wanted to throw a name because you mentioned Conte, right? And of course, you watch Nuno Espirito Santo leave Wolves. Was he ever a possible contender that could possibly change things at Spurs if given a chance?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, Nuno is a great guy. He's done wonders with Wolves. But I don't think that getting somebody from a lesser club, no disrespect, to go to Spurs would be a very big mistake. Get somebody from outside. Somebody. Okay, Conte has worked in England before, but he's left. You take him, it's fine. But to kind of like promote from within would be very risky for Spurs.
I see.
Fair enough. Actually, the other names that were thrown about were Brendan Rodgers, I think Eric Ten Hag as well. But I think Rodgers is probably a difficult one. He's got it good at Leicester, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, when the going is good, don't try to risk everything that you have. Eric Ten Hag, yes, Ajax are a very, very good team. They're more of a development team. Eric Ten Hag would be great, but he will be dealing with established professionals, which could be a little bit difficult for him. I mean, like Ronald Koeman came to Everton and struggled. So yeah, I mean, but no, not right for Spurs.
Fair enough. Conte it is. Ram, you wanna ask him about the Euros?
Oh yes, we have. So yes, we have come to that moment where we have all been waiting for, of course, as football fans. Of course, World Cup is always something that we always want to watch, and now we are looking forward for the Euros. So I have a very interesting question to ask you, Shebby. Just wanted to know what are your predictions for the Euros? In terms of contenders, teams to watch out for. What do you think?
Well, my favorites are France. Personally, I feel the French. After the World Cup win, I think they are ready to win Euro as well. The Euros, simply because they're the established squad, established team. I think the individuals are better than they were in 2018. So I would like I mean, I see them as favorites. I see them as favorites, And the important thing is that, they've still got Didier Deschamps. So there's no problem with mentality, no problem with boycotting, coaches, I mean, the French, they love their drama.
Yeah.
But I think this time around, Didier Deschamps, I think he's got a good thing going for him. Mbappe is in form. Griezmann ended the season
Benzema
really
back
well.
as well.
Benzema
back in the
Karim
team as
Benzema, he's back in the squad. Pogba is always a better player for the national team.
That one I agree.
N'Golo Kante has
Kante.
been unbelievable.
Yeah.
They may have lost Matuidi, but Matuidi could still come into contention. I think young Eduardo Camavinga, I think he could get an opportunity if you want somebody fresh, somebody Luka Hernandez, his brother Theo has had a fantastic season at left back. So maybe the in central defense, Varane and Umtiti have not had the greatest of time since the World Cup. But the likes of Upamecano, could fit in there. Kimpembe has been playing really well at centre back. So I look at the French and I think they've got a good squad. They've got a good squad. It's just about getting the mind right. I mean, they won the '98 World Cup and then they won Euro 2000. So I personally see a similar thing happening. Apart from the other contenders, I think the Germans. I normally pick them, but will they be happy that Yogi Löw is leaving end of the tournament, or will they say, we are playing for our country, we're not playing for Yogi Löw? So that's going to be a little bit of a question mark. The Belgians,
golden
just
generation.
spoke about Lukaku. There's experience in there. They could well do well. So apart from the French and the Belgians, the Italians will struggle because they don't have the best Italian players playing for the best team, for the best teams rather. So, and scoring goals will be a problem unless the likes of Belotti, perhaps Insigne can score goals, Immobile for that matter. So I would say that I would pick the French as my favorites, Belgium, Italy. Now England is a bit of because
my favorite team.
I'm not sure about their central defense.
Yeah, I agree.
I think central defense is the big problem. I mean, Stones didn't look very comfortable against Chelsea. In the Champions League final. Maguire, I'm sorry, I think he's highly overrated.
Overrated,
I agree.
So, but when you talk about the likes of Mason Greenwood, or Mason Mount, Harry Kane, Foden,
Sancho,
and don't forget Jadon Sancho.
Jadon
Sancho. So I think midfield going forward, I think they are fantastic. I would stick my neck out here and say that I think England will be in the semi-finals.
Awesome. What are your thoughts? Talking about England, what are your thoughts on the right back situation in England and Trent Alexander-Arnold?
This is interesting.
Potentially being left out or taken into the squad, for example. And he left him out of his previous squad. He's put him in the initial provisional squad now, but there are too many choices, spoiled for choices there. Would you take him?
Well, I mean, right now, you will look at Kieran Trippier and say, bloody hell, he's just won La Liga with Atletico Madrid, Kyle Walker will always be there or thereabouts, But you look into the future and you say, okay, for the present, we'll take Kieran Trippier as first choice and Trent Alexander-Arnold because, Alexander-Arnold is going to be the next right back for many years. Had a blip in form. He hasn't become a bad player. Yes, he's made some high-profile mistakes. Which should never happen, which should not happen. But then again, so has Kyle Walker. And I think Trippier possibly has made the least high-profile mistakes. Let's be honest about that. So I would take Trippier and I would take Alexander-Arnold.
Looks like one Bissaka missed the boat.
It's not good enough. What about Spain? Thoughts on Spain very quickly?
Well, I don't think they are that good anymore. Yes, Gerard Moreno is not the quickest. He is not that kind of as quick as Fernando Torres, or as foxy as David Villa. They are going to, in my opinion, I think they're going to struggle. And I think Luis Enrique, I think he's made a big mistake leaving Sergio Ramos out. Okay, Ramos will not play every game because he has had very bad luck this first half of this year. But you must talk about leadership. You must talk about the quality that he will bring into the dressing room. Even if he's player number 23, it doesn't matter. Being there, done that, has got the respect of everyone. So that's why I would love to say that the Spanish will be thereabouts, but I don't think they've got enough top quality players who can make a difference.
I'm going to throw one extra name out there, Shebby. What about the young generation coming out of Portugal? They've got a pretty young team, very exciting looking team now with a lot of talent across the pitch as well. Could they make a mark?
Well, they are going to be interesting. Obviously, we are looking at Andre Silva. Andre Silva is a goal scorer. We're looking at Rafael Leal, who is with AC Milan. He's quick, he's fast. Joao Felix, he could just, ignite this competition as well. So yeah, there is a lot of potential. I think Rafa Guerreiro, has been fantastic at left back. Ruben Diaz at centre back.
Bruno Fernandes for United. Yep.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandes. So there is a lot about this team. So I will not make them favorites because I think that put too much pressure on them. But they certainly, they could certainly make it a fight for a semi-final place. But then they are in the group of death, aren't they?
I think so. I think
I think we've got Portugal. I think they are in a very, very difficult group. But then again, being in a difficult group is good because there is less pressure on them to perform. So yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. What about
just can somebody just Google the group?
yeah, check it out.
Sure, we'll check Euros group.
While Ram is doing that, I want to ask you, bring you closer to home a bit, Shebby. What about we've spoken about the Premiership, we've spoken about the Euros coming up. What are your thoughts on the standard of Malaysian football right now, the national team as it is, and the league as it is, and the quality of players right now?
Well, to be honest, I've been watching quite a few of our local league games, the Malaysian Super League. I don't think JDT are as dominant as they used to be. There's been a draw here, a loss there, which I don't think is really good. And the funny thing is that every time a team comes to play JDT or a team plays against JDT, they play the game of their life. And then what happens, in the very next game, they struggle. So there's a lack of consistency. Generally, across the board, I think Malaysian football is not at its best at this moment in time.
What about the national team? Because last I saw, obviously, I've been watching that as well. They are second, I think, in the World Cup qualifying group, in the second World Cup qualifying group, in a group that has UAE as well. I think they're ahead of UAE as well. So
yeah, so we've got UAE. They've got a game against Vietnam, and I think we've got and then we've got Thailand as well. So it's not going to be that easy. We've lost a friendly game to Kuwait. We lost a friendly game to Bahrain in preparation for UAE. I mean, for the competition proper. I think honestly, in my opinion, I think if we automatically qualify for the Asian Cup, I think that would be good because there's a lot of naturalized players. So there's more pressure now on the Malaysian national team to perform, because you've got naturalized players. I hate the idea.
Mohamed Sumare comes to mind.
Sumare, Liridon Krasniki, GM De Paula, they're not they better do something. They better take Malaysia to the next level, or I think a lot of heads will roll. So we're not looking at the domestic league. There's no really one outstanding national team player, and I hope that, like I said, qualification for the Asian Cup, we have to finish third, I think, and hope that we are the best third place in, whatever numbers there are, because the Asian Cup has been increased to more teams. So yeah, I think qualification for the Asian Cup is the minimum.
Quick one, actually, Shebby, with your knowledge of the local game as it is as well, any promising young Malaysian players to look out for? I mean, I know we have a player that's playing in Belgium right now. I believe it's Hakim Lukman.
Lukman Hakim, yeah.
Lukman Hakim, yes. Of course, there's Safavi Rashid, who's still in the younger side of things as well. What are your thoughts on Lukman Hakim, actually?
Well, I mean, I get excited when I think of Safawi, because I think he's only about 23.
Yep.
Lukman Hakim, I think still 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And Arif Aiman. This is 19-year-old right winger playing for JDT. Arif Aiman. Now, if you have Arif on the right, you have Lukman Hakim, as the striker, and you have Safawi, playing on the left, or him and Arif Aiman switching sides so they can play on their stronger foot. I mean, that would be fearsome, because they've got pace, they've got trickery, they've got strength, So I'm excited about these three. I hope, that the national team coach, Tan Cheng Ho, will say, look, I'm looking at the future. Yes, I have Sumare, I have Nur Sharul Idlan Talaha, I have Shafiq Ahmad, but no, I'm going to unleash these boys, because they will be playing for Malaysia for the next 5, 6, 7 years, and to bring something new to the team, to freshen up, the attack of the national team. I mean, I saw Nur Sharul Idlan Talaha, and Shafiq Ahmad against Bahrain, and I can say that, they looked out of sorts, So I mean, there are three exciting attacking players, and Nur Azam Azeh in midfield, he can pass the ball. He's a very good distributor of the ball. So I would say that, Tan Cheng Ho, be brave, throw Lukman Hakim, Arif Aiman, and Safawi, into the starting 11, and we take it from there.
I agree. Take the risk, see what happens, give it a go. Nothing will come through without risk, right? So they have to take a chance.
I've got to come back on your question about the league group very quickly, Shebby. I did look it up. I don't know if you did as well, but
I have it with me. Yep.
Yeah.
In the
so
group
Portugal,
of
Germany, France.
Yeah. I know it's Portugal, France, Germany.
Hungary.
France are already my favorites. The Germans, we don't know what the mentality will be like. The Portuguese have a good, young team, very enterprising. Hungary could be the whipping boys.
Yep.
So there's only two that are going to come, to go through. But a third place team could go through as well. So yeah, but if I have to choose two from Hungary, Portugal, France, Germany, I would go with France and Germany. I mean, Germany simply because they're a tournament team. No matter how poor they are, they will somehow be in the knockout stages.
Yep.
Awesome. That was great insights about the landscape of Malaysian football and of course the Euros as well. Ram, we're going to move to the rapid fire session now.
Yes.
So we want some really quick fire answers from Shebby. Put him on the spot a little bit, I suppose.
Shebby, are you ready, Shebby? Are you ready for this?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay. So
take you down memory lane a little bit as well.
Yep, definitely. I think there's one question that I think, of course, for us, to get to know you better as well. So I'm going to kick off with the first question. Your football idol growing up?
My football idol growing up, Franz Beckenbauer.
Franz Beckenbauer. Wow, amazing. Harry, your turn.
Yeah. This one's a very interesting one, actually. Best player you played with, and we'd like to know the best player you played against as well.
Well, the best player I played with, it's got to be Fandi Ahmad. Me and Fandi, we won a lot of things with Kuala Lumpur. Clearly the best that I've played with. The most difficult player that I've played against, Gary Lineker. We played Malaysia versus England, and he only scored 4.
Actually, just very quickly on the topic, what do you think made Lineker so special? He was a proper goal scorer. He didn't have, I think, not technically, but what was it about him?
His movement, his sense of anticipation in the box. 1 minute he was next to you, in the blink of an eye, he was heading the ball in at the near post. I mean, he just had this sense of anticipation, which just made him, look so cool in front of goal, because he's, like I said, there's some chip in his brain and a chip in the ball. They just drew them together.
Telepathic.
So his sense of anticipation in the box, unbelievable. Like I said, he only scored 4.
I mean, I watched some of his, of course, of course, we didn't get to watch him live, of course, but I did watch some of his video clips. I think he was, what a brilliant player he was indeed. Definitely. And now it brings me to my next question, Shebby. Best player in the world currently, who do you think?
Oh, currently?
Yes.
Today, right now, at this very moment, Kylian Mbappe.
Oh, wow.
Kylian Mbappe. He's unbelievable. That acceleration with the ball, and his technique and his finishing quality. I mean, today, right now, he is, he's frightening. He's a monster.
I was totally,
I was going to say frightening talent. He's what, 21, 22 as well. So he's
22,
frightening. Actually. Yeah. What he could become is.
True. I mean, definitely, move over Messi, move over Ronaldo.
Yes.
Mbappe is the next big star.
Yeah. This one's a very good one, Shebby. If you had to choose, okay, if you were a player right now, who would you rather play for, Klopp or Pep?
I'll play for Pep, because I think I'm tailor-made for Pep. Because we both started as central midfielders, and then I went to play at the back, so I would be very useful. I'd be a perfect Fernandinho for him.
actually, on the topic of moving back, right, and playing at the back, because obviously you were known as you were Malaysian. You were the libero for the Malaysian national team for KL as well, for example. That was the term used then, the libero for the
libero,
sweeper, the sweeper role exactly as well. So this question, very relevant. Who do you think? I think you probably answered it earlier. But I'm going to ask you, who do you think is the best libero of all time?
You mean I already said
Franz
Beckenbauer.
What?
Yeah.
So I'll reverse that now. Who's the best libero currently in the world today?
I mean, today in world football, it's got to be Leonardo Bonucci. I don't see anybody come close to Bonucci in terms of being that libero. The last man. The guy who can build attacks, the guy who organizes the defense, the guy who who can who's got a great sense of anticipation defensively as well. As they say, reads the game well.
Yep.
It's got to be Bonucci. After Bonucci, I mean, I don't see too many central defenders like that. I mean, John Stones is a very poor man's Bonucci.
What about David Luiz?
Well, David Luiz was one of my favorite players. Yes, unfortunately, I think he was more appreciated by his teammates than appreciated by the media or the fans. David Luiz, perfect. Coming into midfield with the ball. He would be. I mean, I would pick 3 of my best today currently defenders. It would be Bonucci, Ramos, and David Luiz.
Yep. Sergio Ramos definitely for sure in that list. I agree with you. Definitely.
Did Van Dijk make that list?
No.
I agree with you as well, Shebby. Well done. I like that answer.
I like Joel Matip.
Yes, he's actually, he brings the ball out from defense very
underrated.
Well.
He's very underrated because VVD gets all the accolades.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I do have the final question of the rapid fire round. Okay, player or pundit?
Me?
Yes.
Player.
Good one.
Got you thinking for a little bit, that one.
No, player. I mean, you ask any footballer and he will want to be a player. He will want to go back to playing.
Yeah. I can
Yeah,
imagine, Shebby,
yeah.
when of course when you were doing your punditry days, of course, football focus, when you used to watch games, I'm sure you felt like you wanted to get on that field and you want to get some of the action, right?
Yeah, like what you would do, in a
Yeah.
situation like
Yeah.
that, how would I have reacted,
Mhm.
it was always that, because I've been there, done that, I played
Mhm.
for my country for 9 years. I beat the Japanese when they were bloody good. We beat the South
Asian games,
Koreans
yeah.
when they were bloody good,
Mhm.
we had a 0-0 draw against Algeria once, so I played in a lot of high profile matches, and defending is an art,
Yep.
and the basic principles of defending are always still the same.
Yep, definitely. Well, we have come to the end of the rapid fire round. It's been an awesome session with you, Shabby.
Absolute
Of
pleasure.
course,
Yep.
absolute pleasure. We really enjoyed it because,
Yeah.
of course, there were a lot of things that we didn't know, and of course, you gave us a lot of insights, which is going to be of course, very good for us because for us, we are learning every single time. We are new on this field of a football talk show, and of course, your presence today really made it so wonderful. Thank you so much once again, Shabby.
I really appreciate you guys having me on your show, and I must say that I've thoroughly enjoyed this. And I will only know how good I was if I get to come back on the show.
Oh, definitely. We would love to do a preview against Spurs.
It'll definitely be a lot faster than the first time round.
Definitely.
Take care, guys. Have fun. Football, you have to play. You have to speak about it with a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
That's why they call it the beautiful game. That's
The
why
beautiful
we love
game.
That's why we love the sport.
Exactly. Right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
once again,
Shabby.
Shabby.
Thank you so much.
Signing
Ram.
Have a
off.
good one.
Right,
Take
Ram.
care.
Signing
Signing
off
off
from the
from the
Plot Malaysia. This is the
This is
show
the show.
for the fans.
Bye, the fans.
Yes, thank you once again,
Cheers, Shabby.
guys.
Thanks, Shabby.
All right. Bye now.